Good morning, everyone. My name is Maria Connor. I'm with the Dartmouth Friends of the Elderly, and we're sponsoring this event today. Many moons ago, the month of May, traditionally, it's been called the Older Americans Month. Used to be a lot of festivities, a lot of activities, but it seems like these days it's been fading away. So the Dartmouth Friends of the Elderly decided to do something about it, and there we are here today in fellowship, reminding everyone how important our elders are in our community. They shaped this country in many ways. They took care of their families. They worked hard to support their families, and yet they give back to the community with dignity and principles. Now, let's pat ourselves in the back today for a job well done, and you paid your dues. Now, we have very important guests today with us, and I know some of them have to go to other appointments. And we have our Senator Montigny today, who has a proclamation. Will you come up and read your...
You don't even give me time to get my coffee,
No,
take my jacket off.
There we go.
Can I get a kiss?
Yes, you can.
I've been stealing kisses from her for... What's this? What's this all about? 6 foot one. Well, on my license it says 6 feet, but my little son, who's 9, says, "No, you're 6'1", Daddy." So I'm 6'1". Good morning, everyone. Do you want me to make a really long speech?
No,
Well, what's all this?
that's mine.
I have so much to say, and this table over here especially wants to hear it. Go ahead, say something, Maki.
I'll have my chance.
Well, this is what's really bad about coming up first. There is no way to win unless I keep it all inside if he's coming up after. So let me just say one serious thing about Maria Connor. So Chris and I have this conflict this morning. We have another event, and I said to Chris, we talked early, and then I said to John Regan, who used to work with you with John Quinn, you know, this thing in New Bedford is important. It's the waterfront tour with the Secretary of Economic Affairs, which is something Chris and I have worked really hard on, as you may have read about. And I said, you know, I got 100 seniors in a room, and I got Maria Connor, which is like having 500 seniors in a room. I ain't going on the boat, or I'm going on the boat if she gives me permission to show up there late. So, last thing before I present this on a truly serious note, I think of the decades, and I'll be careful not to mention names because I'll miss someone in the audience, but since you're at the podium, I can mention you. I think of our early and consistent fights, literally over decades for seniors, that you led the way with Charlie Sisson and Al Norman. Believe it or not, Al Norman, now in his 80s, was lobbying me like obsessively during the state budget on this home equity theft bill that I've passed in the Senate that basically was stealing homes, communities stealing homes from senior citizens and other vulnerable people. And Al Norman, who worked on home care and on every senior issue for probably 40 years with you,
Yep.
is still lobbying, and he's tough. So I thank you for helping create the senior pharmacy program. In my legislation, we worked on home care, we worked on funding the councils on aging, Meals on Wheels. You are a star, and my dear, dear friend. And now the only formal part, the Commonwealth of oh, you gave me Chris, he would, are you kidding me? The things he would say if I presented his?
Yeah.
So I'm going to just read it very briefly because I think you all know what has been done here at the Friends of the Elderly. I mean, think about it. I mean, you come in here, it's a physical building, but the staff of the Councils on Aging, and particularly the Friends, you know who you are. You volunteer your time like Maria does. No one sends you a paycheck, and that's why we wanted to present this resolution. And secondly, because she has my cell phone number. So, commending the Dartmouth Friends of the Elderly for recognizing May 2024 as Older Americans Month. I won't read the whole resolution, but it essentially talks about why Older Americans Month is important. It talks about the wealth of life experience that we get as a younger generation that I'm quickly aging out of in the experience that we get from our parents' generation. And it goes on to talk about all of the community work that the Friends have done. And I can't say enough other than how honored I am, not to honor you and the Friends, but to be your friend.
Thank you.
Wait, somebody, I need a picture. I didn't even bring my phone. I want to. Can somebody take a picture and, yeah, come on, I'm shameless. I want an absolute picture. And someone's got to send it to me. I'll give you my cell.
You can. Thank you. Thank you so much for those kind words. Appreciate it. And of course, we have Chris Markey, another good friend of many years, and a friend of yours, very caring about our senior community. Chris?
I was kind to you. I didn't say one word out of line.
That's your problem. I had my coffee at 6:30 this morning when I was back at my office by 6:45. So I didn't need a coffee to delay me when I got here and sit. But hey, he's a senator and I'm only a rep, so. I had no idea that this was Older Americans Month until Maria said something about it. And early this month to make sure that I was going to be here, and I had a citation to present at the breakfast. And I started to think about why we would have this and all of this, and Mark mentioned a couple of the things. But the things that I think of is, now that I am my kids are out of the house for the most part, I start reflecting as a parent, and then I start reflecting as my parents did with us. And I think of the wisdom that comes from all of you, from your life experiences. You didn't have to be number one in your class in high school. You didn't have to go to an Ivy League school to be anyone with wisdom. The wisdom of you is the way you live your life every day. And it is an obligation of you now in your life to provide that wisdom to us, to your grandchildren, and even to your great-grandchildren. That wisdom of hard work, dedication, loyalty, all of those things I know at least I try to strive for, that I learned from my parents and my grandparents. Just because you are older does not mean that you cannot provide the next generation with something of deep, deep value, incredible value. And if we had more people who volunteered, who came here and did things in our lives, we would be a better place. So do not think of this, I don't think of this as like an older American. I just think it's the Wiser People Month. And you have provided incredible wisdom to all of us. And I hope that I can live up to that obligation that you have provided and that example that you have provided us. So in honor of that, we in the House, where we're more down to earth and relate to people closer than the Senate, and I feel that connection now that, as Mark drinks his coffee and orange juice, be it here known to all that Massachusetts House of Representatives offers its sincerest congratulations to the Dartmouth Friends of the Elderly in recognition of Older Americans Month. So thank you very much, Maria. Thank you very much, everyone, for coming. And by the way, when I stand next to Maria, I feel like I can post her up in the low post and play for the Celtics, because I feel pretty tall here. Thank you. And I am leaving right now, and I'm sorry, but we do have to go. We have an important thing to go to for 10 o'clock. So I just want to say thank you very much again. And I apologize I'm not here for the entire breakfast.
Thank you. Now we have two selectmen today here. Thank you so much for being here. David Talbot and Sean McDonald. Would you care to give us a few words of wisdom?
Hi, Sean McDonald, I'm Chairman of the Select Board. I do not drink coffee. Coffee milk? Yes. I have no proclamation because earlier in... Sure, the DA just walks in during a speech, no problem. I mean, who's going to arrest him, right? Earlier in April, or late in April, the Select Board already proclaimed this Older Americans Month in Dartmouth. It kind of hits hard because, it doesn't hit hard, but then all of us realize that, hey, I'll be 67 later in June, and I'm part of that older American. Who would have thought? One of the things that is really important, and it's important in this town, is the knowledge and the history that you carry with yourself. And I urge every single one of you in this room to pass that along to your children, your grandchildren, your great-grandchildren, because it's very important that people know where they are from where they came. Bob Harding, who was a big historian in this town, passed away recently, and he had tremendous amount of knowledge of how Dartmouth, the way it used to be. And you're part of that generation where you know what Dartmouth used to be. And that's very important to know that. And we appreciate that. The Select Board is probably the board that affects you the most because it's all local. And we try to do our best with what we have, even though we could use a little bit more money from the state, you know, come this way. The more money we get from the state, the more money we can pass along to places like the Council on Aging, Friends of the Elderly Help. And it's, you know, it's just important. Town is everything, family is everything, but everything is local, and we really appreciate it. I see people here that I haven't seen in many years. My first board secretary, Claudette Morehouse, back in 1980, when I was 22 years old. At the time, I was the youngest kid elected into town politics. So I've been doing this for a very long time. I remember a snot-nosed kid running for senator for the first time. So I remember that. So, and the stories I could tell, but we keep that alone. We keep that privately.
Please, I'm quite proud of those.
Not the ones that I know. And of course, Christopher Markey left, and wow, Chris, we got some really good people working hard for you. And of course, the one that casts the biggest shadow is the person on my right. She may be diminutive, but man, I tell you, she overshadows all of us, no matter how tall we are, how big we are, or everything. She casts a larger shadow than most of us. So. This is my second Vavo. So, thank you very much. Enjoy your breakfast. Unfortunately, I can't stay because I have a tire that has a hole in it that I want to get repaired, and I have some tenants that I have to deal with that caused a lot of problems over the weekend. So, okay. All right. I'll wait till you stop breakfast before I go.
And we have another very special guest, Michael Chackerman, representing Congressman Keating, thank you so much for being here. And there's expectation.
Thank you, Maria. Sorry for being late. Glad to be here. Good morning, everyone. Looks like I'm standing between people and eating, so I'm going to be very brief. Congressman Keating couldn't be here today, but he sends his best wishes to all the seniors and citizens of Dartmouth for celebrating this important Older Americans Month. We did submit a certificate of special congressional recognition presented to the Dartmouth Council on Aging. I won't read the whole thing. There's a lot of verbiage here. But the Congressman Keating is justly proud to recognize and honor the seniors of Dartmouth as we commemorate Older Americans Month, noting the many contributions made to the community by its senior citizens and the diverse traditions of service and connectedness that are passed down from generation to generation. Now, therefore, I, Representative William R. Keating, do hereby honor the seniors of Dartmouth as we celebrate Older Americans Month and wish them continued success as individuals and as a community. So thank you for all you do to make the community great, your families, contributions to your family traditions, and I hope you all have a wonderful day. Thank you so much.
And I know we have the new kid on the block, Chris O'Neill, our new selectman. There's a chance for you to meet your constituents.
Thank you very much. Hi, everybody. Thank you all. It's great to see everybody today. Sorry I'm a little late, but Patsy and Mark would never let me live it down if I didn't show up, and of course our hero here. So enjoy the breakfast. You know, take a second and try and get as many handshakes in as I can, I guess, and see what happens. Good to see you, Tom.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
We have one more guest, District Attorney Tom Quinn.
Good morning. Thank you, Maria, for the opportunity to say a few words. The bottom line is we owe so much to our seniors. They've made this country what it is. As a district attorney for the past almost 9.5 years, I made it a priority to try to protect seniors from a variety of things. But again, there's a lot going on in the country that's disturbing, but the one thing that's there we can all rely on is what our seniors have done to make the country what it was and is. So I want to extend my gratitude to you for that, raising families, overcoming adversity. And in fact, since I've been the DA, I did 2 weeks from Friday, June 14th, we have a celebration of seniors we've done annually at White's of Westport. Anybody interested in coming is free to come. You can contact our office, but it's an acknowledgement of what our seniors have done and focusing on trying to protect you from the many scam artists and thieves that are out there. So thank you for all that you've done for our communities and country.
We have other folks here that represents a lot of the service that's given to seniors in a lot of communities. Justin Lee is the CEO at Coastline Elderly Services. Would you like to say a couple of words? I think I'm putting everyone on the spot today.
You usually do.
Again, thank you, Maria. Thank you all for coming. As has been said, May is Older Americans Month. And I know many folks don't like to consider themselves in that category, but it is special that there's the month of May dedicated to you in recognition of all you've done throughout your life and continue to do. I did just want to touch on the theme this year for Older Americans Month, which is Powered by Connection. Since the pandemic, it became really evident for a lot of older folks, the biggest barrier that they face day in and day out is technology. Access to technology, how to use it, what to trust. And the pandemic shifted everybody to really relying on that for communication, a appointment setting, things like that. So in recognition of that, we have had technology courses at Coastline for the past 2 years. And now with a new grant from the Mass Broadband Institute, we're expanding that. So we're really going to keep pushing the technology education. I know that there are resources here, but there will be expanded resources coming in the near future. So thank you, Maria, for everything you do.
Thank you.
And thank you all for coming.
Thank you. We also have some staff from Coastline. Could you please stand up and be recognized? Also, Ann McCrillas used to be the planner for Coastline Elderly Service, a long, long friend of mine. In closing, let me recognize the Dartmouth Council on Aging staff, Amy, Angela, Nancy, for all the help that they give us with this. And in closing, Amy, would you like to close with a few words?
She got you too, Justin. We didn't think we'd have to get up here. So this year, I became a card-carrying member of AARP. So I would just like to thank you all for being role models for all of the staff here. We've watched people age with grace, dignity, remaining active, and really just keeping that joy in life, and that's what we're striving to provide for you. So congratulations, this is a well-deserved honor. And again, thank you to the Dartmouth Friends of the Elderly and Maria for everything and putting this wonderful day together. Thank you.
And we're going to conclude because I think most of us are hungry, and breakfast will be served very shortly. And Council on Aging, again, helping out. They will be calling tables. Thank you so much for being here. And again, pat yourselves in the back for a job well done.